welcome to another episode of An Inside Job, War and Addiction. We just did one. This is show 33, and we have Kate. We did one show 1.5 hour before this, but we could keep speaking about this
all day.
All day is right. But where we left off, I just wanted to give some numbers that I put together, because in so many people, and I'm introducing Kate again, all right? So many people that I run into say, why? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand how they can't stop doing this, all right? And a lot of the people, which I've always also talked with, just say, let them rot. Just let them rot. They did it. It's their choice. Let them rot. And for those people, I want to explain, and this is conservative, about how much it is costing us as a nation. 91 fatal ODs a day, and that's 33215 times one trip, one OD, fatal or not, one OD from the fire department, the police department, everybody, hospital, everybody. So that number times $7,500. All right, that's 249 million in change. But this is just a part of it. The prisons, which are 90% drug and alcohol related. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then we have the recidivism. Okay, that's 80%. That's from people inside the prison. And I've been going into the prisons a long time for AA. I haven't, in the last few years. So we're talking 1.75 billion. And I know that's not the whole thing, but could somebody, because the system's broken, numbers are getting higher, could somebody come up with a chunk of that? Maybe I'm not going to get political, but our president is looking for 700 billion to build the wall to keep the drugs out. So I say, what about the inside that we're dying? It just gets me so angry, and that's where I am now. I don't know what the next step is, and that's what it's costing us as a nation, because we aren't looking at this. And everybody's society is to blame, all right? Do you agree with that? Let's go back to what you were talking about before. The addict's mother, whatever her, alcohol before that, and we have allowed this to just go on to where we have a child or 35-year-old, and you said it.
You said a couple of things just now. One is, you said 90-something overdoses a day. It's double that now. It's probably 160 a day. Last year alone, we lost 64,000, I'm sure it's higher, in the United States from an overdose, not including alcohol. That's just opiate overdose.
Right.
Last year in the country, 64,000, which is more than we lost in Vietnam in total. Okay?
I heard something like that.
So that's going to go up.
In 1 year?
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. What I don't understand is, why are we not knocking on the door of the insurance company, who, when I speak to them, they say they have individuals that have cost the insurance company 100 or more thousand a year, and the person's not well. So I actually was working with Tufts, Mass Health.
Oh.
They were talking last year about putting together a pilot program for 100 individuals. They're higher risk people, right?
Okay.
So they're concerned about money. Fine. Give me 100 people that cost you $100,000. Put together a team of recovery coaches to each partner with 10 individuals. That'll cost a third of that. I don't know what the percentages are that will get well, but insurance is going to be picking up recovery coaching, Ron, which is a big
I
piece.
guess.
Recovery coaching is peer-to-peer. So it's similar to sponsorship in the program, right?
Yeah.
The intent of sponsorship. However, there aren't enough sponsors to take care of the people that need to be taken care of. There
Right.
aren't enough sponsors that have really solid recovery that have gone through the program. So, okay, we're missing a big piece here. Recovery coaches come in and they're people with lived experience, solid recovery, and they're supervised. And they're out in the community, partnering with individuals, going to
So-
find them, picking them up, bringing them to
Okay.
treatment, bringing them to
All right.
meetings. So when I engage an individual, let me talk about that next step. Someone comes in, they overdose, they say, I want help. Okay? I then meet them that night or the next morning, take them to a meeting, talk to their family, bring them to McDonald's, get a coffee, whatever it takes to start a conversation. They go to treatment. I talk to them when they're in treatment. Because when you go to treatment, you meet people, you see friends, old friends, you make new friends, you could leave. But if they have me calling, checking on them, visiting, dropping off cigarettes, there's this link. There's this, it's sort of like all the pieces. You got detox, then you go to the next level. There are 12 times that we can take
Right.
ourselves out. You have a person, so it's your link. It's your, I can't think of the word, but it's your person that's holding you together. And it's not your mom or your dad or your family member, which is obviously different. So I call the detox, I check in on them. I'm like, I'll pick you up. They call me, I can't get a bed. I'll help you get a bed. So I help the counselor in the detox make more calls.
How difficult is that?
I never
getting
have a
bed?
problem getting anybody a bed. And it's because I don't stop, and I also work with the treatment facilities.
Let me tell you this, all right? And it's one reason. I've been down lately, certainly after this incident. Someone in the program that I've known for 10 years, but we hadn't seen each other because she wasn't come to meetings, or at least the meetings I go to. Just for the last 2 years, she's been living out of her car. In all the agencies, all of them, and many couldn't get her in a place.
Yeah. So one of the challenges I see with that is when you're using opiates and even alcohol, you talked
She's
about...
clean 3 months too, by
Nice.
the way. No, but I'm just saying.
You talked about how it impacts our brain.
Right.
So here's my understanding of it. We have a primitive brain whose primary responsibility is to eat, have sex, and
Right.
and hunt.
Right.
Right? And have shelter. This is where the addiction comes out of. The thinking brain, which is newer, this is the one that says this is a good idea or not a good idea. These two,
What do you mean, this is
like this
newer?
is
Newer.
the thinking brain. So this
Okay.
is the one that says it's not a good idea to drive drunk with your grandson. This is where we operate out of our executive functioning when we're well. So today, I don't drive somebody drunk because I know I'm operating out of this brain. But here's the thing. When you're active, the thinking brain, the cognitive reasoning, doesn't connect with the drinking and drugging brain.
Mm-hmm.
The pathways are broken. So you have a person who's not operating out of the rational thinking part of
Yes.
their mind, making decisions for themselves.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so if it was a tumor like this, we'd all be at Dana-Farber with a big family meeting and
Yeah.
everybody would be making a plan. But here we have the individual who lies to their family, which we do. It's part of the disease. It's the only disease that lies. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, that I know of. Do you
makes
hear a
sense.
diabetic? Well, maybe they hide that they had 10 donuts or whatever, but
No.
that's
I
what's
never
complicated.
Thought of that.
Well, that's what makes this so complicated. So I want to get well, okay? Let's
Yeah.
use me as an example.
Or,
And I'm using opiates. And I have a clear moment, and I say, I want help. This is about the bed search question you had, or problem. I say, I want to get help. And you say, I'll get you a bed. Well, the drug brain starts to take over.
Yeah.
I might get someone a bed. 4 hours later, I can't find them
Right.
because the drug's taking them back out. They go use. Then they call me back in 2 days, I really want a bed. Okay, I'll try again. But I may not get it the second. That's part of the problem.
Of course
The second we
it is.
need it,
Right.
it's not necessarily
Right,
available.
right.
So what do? You got to hang around with that person. You got to keep connected. You got to stay. It takes
And
a
who
lot of
does
work.
that?
Recovery coaches.
Okay.
That's why it's working, because we're chasing people and hanging out with them. And because if they want it, it might take weeks to get them a bed, but not because there isn't a bed. It's because the person keeps coming and going, right? The window of opportunity cracks open and then slams shut.
If somebody is trying to get in without you, trying to get in, can't get a bed, she said that she was calling our father's house every day since November. Oh, I shouldn't have said our father's house. But that's what she said, and she couldn't get a bed. And call tomorrow, call tomorrow.
Right.
So what's the addict gonna do?
Right.
He's gonna use.
Right. So let me tell you something that
Go ahead.
Chelsea's doing. Chelsea, the city of Chelsea, and they're
Okay.
now, and it's being replicated in various cities. It's a model that came out of Canada. They call it a hub. This is incredible. So once a week, say Monday at 10 o'clock, a whole team gets together and meets. And it's the fire department, the police department. For us, it would be, community treatment centers,
Yeah.
right? A recovery coach, a therapist. It's the whole community sits around a big table, and they have a 1-hour meeting. It's very structured.
Yeah.
They say, I have an individual who needs help. And
Right.
collateral, we all circle around this individual. So that's what's making a huge difference. The model
It's
you're talking
working.
about is the individuals kind of on their own, running around.
Yeah.
Family doesn't know. That's a mess. But this hub, they'll get together and they'll say, I'll say, for example, if I had it in our city, I would say, I have an individual. I saw her yesterday. She wants help. The counselor would say, yes, I know her. The police would say, we've seen her before. And so we share what we know about the person. And then one of the members on that team takes the responsibility to contact her and support her. And once a week, this group gets together to compare how we doing. Hey, DCF is here too, because they have her kids. If we're not all working together,
Right.
it's
The
not going to work.
cracks. The cracks.
Cracks.
This
So
girl.
this hub model is really working.
Yeah, and she had that.
Yep.
I mean,
But it
the
wasn't
police.
organized.
The police would come up because
Knock
she
on
was
the
in
door.
her car in the parking lot or under the parking, and knock on her, see if she was all right. Yeah, I'm all right. But when I went down, we got her into the hotel. When I went down there, she called. And when she got into the hotel, she was there 3 nights. She said she was in hysterics, all right? She had called her sister. Just the back windows of her vehicle had gone down, all right? She had a sleeping bag on
So
one side,
cold.
this over her. She had called her sister, can you please take me an outfit? But this girl had burnt like we do. How many times can you get burnt before you say?
Right.
She said she had to, in the shower, spread her toes apart.
It's awful.
Her hands at
It was
least
so
were
cold
filthy.
this winter. But she's
She,
clean now.
she was dying. She's in a place. She's down a
Great.
spectrum.
That's great. And so we just pray she stays.
Right.
And I say to family members that have shut us off, now's the time to reconnect with her. 3 months in a program, connect with her, send her a card. I'm praying for you. Because when we start to get clean, I see, and if the family's like, I'm not talking to you, what's the point? So families don't know how to do this, but I'm suggesting we learn how to say, I'm not saying enable, I'm not saying give them money, I'm not saying let them home. I'm saying love them. Let them know you love
Yeah.
them and you're so proud of them.
Yeah.
And keep doing your own thing. But that goes a long way.
Yes.
You don't have to bring someone to Thanksgiving dinner and worry they're going to steal from
Right.
you to love them. You can love
Right.
them by sending a card.
Yeah. I've been sober 36 years. I've been dealing with my son and his addiction for 36 years. I got sober, so of course I can get my kids sober 36 years later. We have tried everything. Not everything.
Yeah,
In the house, out of the house, in the program, not in the program,
I know.
and we haven't talked for 2 years or 2.5 years because we're at the end. But he's at the end with me also because he doesn't want to hear it from me anymore.
Right.
And I can't hear it from him anymore because we tried everything.
Right.
So there's that part of it too. It's just so difficult to get clean,
I know it is.
right? You have a
many-
lot of hope, and I do also, but I also see this other stuff.
I see all of that. What I'm choosing to do on a daily
Right.
basis is focus on what I can do today.
Yeah,
And if what I'm doing isn't working, talk to people to try something new. And yeah, do I cry? Do I bang my fist against the wall? Absolutely. Absolutely. Super frustrating on a regular basis. I'm seeing hope because I'm seeing things be done differently. And, you know, I didn't just lose someone in the last couple of weeks. If I had, I might be in totally different shape talking
Right.
to you about this. But I am seeing, I've been doing this grant for 2 years. It was night and day from where we were. Now, we have a long way to go. It's only just begun, Ron. So when I say these things are working, it's still much more of a mess than not. I completely agree with you.
right. My dream is, and I certainly wouldn't be trying to put this together because it is such a great dream. I believe in long-term sobriety. Someone gets clean, they, in a place, they come back into society, life on life's terms. First 6 months, the wreckage that you've caused, for me, to this day, I struggle with that. I left my kids. And my kid is, if I want to dwell on it, and my kid is worse than I was. It keeps getting worse.
No.
And his granddaughter OD'd and died 2.5 years ago. Yeah, she was in Spectrum for 5 months. They had to have her leave because she did something stupid, and within 3 weeks she was dead.
Because when they relapse with that much clean time, they use what they used when they last went in, and their body can't handle it.
Right.
It's a disservice
Right.
to detox them for 5 or 6 days and then put them back out. It's actually more dangerous. So Dr. Ruth Potee, who I urge you to look up on YouTube and watch her presentation, speaking around the area in high schools, she believes we shouldn't even be detoxing from heroin. She said, we're using detox because of the alcohol
Oh,
model.
you're talking about methadone and that stuff?
Because you take someone off it, and then what else? What's the plan? That's why we've lost so many people.
That's one of the...
I'm not saying everyone should get on medically assisted treatment, but alcohol detox is very different than
Right.
opiate detox.
Right.
So, but we're using the same model, 5,
Right.
6, 7 days. It's not the same animal.
We had a girl, Chanel, 14 months clean. She did want to do a year, and then detox from the methadone. It was methadone, not Suboxone. She didn't do it right, yes, but trying to get off that methadone caused her to go back out. That, and of course, other things. She had 14 months. And then my good friend Wolf said, and he's been around, he said, if you're on one of those things for 9 years, you ain't coming back. And so again with my nephew, but I'm not going to go there because it seems like everywhere I go, you are really helping me a lot to know that there's some of this stuff going on, because all I see is no focus.
Right.
No
right.
focus.
I understand. And the reason I know about this is because I learned in my first year of the grant, I was where you are. I was crying, because that's how I handle stress, and I was arguing with people in the ER,
Yeah.
and I realized I can't keep doing this.
Right.
I'm going to take myself out because this is just too much.
Right.
So I took a step back. I still did the job, but I didn't overextend myself and work triple hours. I stopped and I did a lot of research, and I worked on my own wellness, okay, in this period of a few months. And in my research, I found the hub model in Chelsea. I found the police program, which is improving. And so I started to join and read and learn about what is happening, which is why I say to you with Alone No More, think of it as what it was is what it was, because all we have is what is anyway, right? So I'm rejuvenated with my enthusiasm because I'm seeing a lot going on. I couldn't stay in that. So this grant is going to end at the end of April. They're hoping to fund another year.
Right.
But they said they won't know for a few months.
Right.
So what happens to all the people I'm working with? Do I just say, oh, grant ended, I'm sorry? No, I
Right.
don't do that. I slow down taking people after the grant ends, and I'll continue to support the people I can. But what I've decided to do is, personally, just for me, I have to go find out what else we're doing in our country that's working, so I can bring that message around. I really want to do more educating of families. I want to educate doctors and nurses. Health Alliance yesterday had a presentation in the morning for doctors and nurses on the stigma and how it affects patient care. And it was put on by Health Alliance. So that's cool. They're holding a forum to say to the doctors and nurses, hey, this stigma thing is real. We're not treating these people the same way we're treating a diabetic or someone with cancer or someone with heart disease. So they're having the conversation. Now, should we have had it 80 years ago? Sure, but we're having it now. We are having that conversation now.
Yeah. It's just, to me, it just seems so overwhelming,
It's
the whole thing. And it is.
It is. It is.
But when you're sitting in an AA meeting, NA meeting, and that person just died,
All of a sudden, the chair is empty. If I didn't go to meetings, meditate, do yoga, and read something about the disease or neuroscience or my own recovery every day, I wouldn't be sitting here as calm and as able to manage this intense job.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm able to do what I do. But it's devastating. It's disgusting. We've let people down. I have one mom who's a nurse, so when her son came to her and said, I'm addicted to Percocets, she called the doctor for help. It's been 3 years. The doctors don't know about this. And in fact, when the doctors were sitting yesterday in the stigma event, which I happened to hear about, so I slipped in to listen, they want to know about this disease. They want to understand it. My doctor, when I went to her and I was drinking, she'd say, oh, do you want to cut back? Really? It was way beyond that. So I now teach my doctor. So we have to go way back. We have to back up. We have to change laws. We have to educate in a completely different way. We have to reallocate the money. And the prison, don't get me started. I have a guy that's in Shirley Minimum, and he wants someone to come in and do the 12 steps with him. And I'm having a hard time getting somebody to get authorized to go in and read with him once a week.
Yeah.
That's wrong. He's
Yeah.
going to sit in there for 2 years and come out the exact same
Right
if
back.
he doesn't change the way he's thinking. But he writes to me all the time,
Oh, wonderful.
and he asks for help. And I'm talking to the sheriff and the judge, and I'm going in and having meetings saying, what can we do for this guy? That's what I'm doing, Ron. That's what I encourage you to do. Start poking. And you're doing it by sitting here and bringing
Right.
people in. You are doing it.
Right.
But I'll help you get
Thank
more
you.
people in here because
Thank you. We'll write that down.
Yep.
Jane, can we write that down? We'll have her on camera. It's really,
yeah,
you are, I'll just say, you're helping me so much.
Good.
Because I was stuck
Ah.
and I was meditating on that. Where to? And after that incident with that girl, 2 years in a car,
I know.
I just,
I was that way last year, Ron. I threw my hands up. I really was ready to walk away, and I kept saying this. And no offense to anyone that's a bagger at Market Basket, but I said I just want to go bag groceries and ring the register because it would be pleasant, and I could talk to people, because I couldn't keep doing that. I don't
it's
know how
always
people.
there for you.
Yep. I don't know how people work in the field and keep doing the same thing over and over again. What's
I
that?
did it for 6 years.
Definition of
With-
insanity.
Yeah, yeah. I did it. It
Something-
almost, running that house, Veterans in Recovery, it almost took me over the edge. And I was probably 25 years sober.
So I was
all right?
3 when I started this. Big risk. Big risk.
Yes.
Which is one of my concerns for the recovery coaches that are all getting trained.
Right.
They need to be taken care of. Their recovery has to come first.
Right.
So it's a new position, right? People with 2 years clean can do it. Awesome. I was 2 years clean when I started doing it. I needed extreme self-care and extreme attention to my recovery, or I'm going down.
Right.
There is someone I know that was 4 years sober and clean, was doing this job, relapsed on heroin, and died.
Yeah.
And that's just someone I know. What about all the people
Right.
I don't know?
Right.
So it's a great position. It needs extreme care and tending to be sure that we're not putting people at greater risk.
Right. So what should be the education of you? You're coming in. What should
Strong
that be?
supervision. Strong supervision.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah. And closely held supervision. I have AdCare Hospital manages my program,
Uh-oh.
so they oversee me.
2 minutes. You,
Thank you so much,
you gotta
Ron, for
come
having
back.
me. I will.
Oh, they're all good, but this one
You're
is
feeling
just,
a little more hope because you're talking
Right.
about the solution.
Right, right. So, and you're gonna come back again?
I will.
Unless you're in
Across the
Alaska
country,
somewhere.
right?
Who's gonna pay for that?
I don't care.
Oh.
I don't care. I'm a minimalist right now. I don't need too much.
Oh.
I've cut
All
way
right.
back.
All
SAMHSA
right.
maybe will do a grant.
Who?
SAMHSA.
Oh, I
It's a
don't know
federal. There's a lot of grant money, and honestly, Ron, I don't need much.
that. Okay.
So we'll see.
Talk to Jack. He's got his cabin up in the Yukon or something. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Kate's gonna come back, and so that's another one. That's 33, I think. And thank you. Wrap it up.